So if a man is emotionally entangled with his mother and is overly preoccupied with her needs and neglects most of his own needs and his own life, this can just be what is normal. And so other people can find it strange that a man in this position wouldn't be aware of the fact that he is ignoring himself and he is overly focused on his mother's life. However, this can just be what is normal, and he may even live in a culture where it is seen as the right thing for a man to do. And as a result of this, it can take many, many years until he is able to see clearly and to wake up. And this is something that can take place after he has had a breakdown or he gets into a relationship, and then he can gradually come to see that he has been living in the wrong way for so long, and this has greatly diminished him. It's caused him to have a life that is not really worth living, and it has caused him also to experience a number of negative feelings over the years, and that he has done his best to ignore these feelings, and he tried to behave in the same way. And even though he is now aware of what is going on, it doesn't mean that he will just be able to change his life, because although he will no longer want to behave in this way, he can find that this is still what feels comfortable. And this shows that knowing is not enough, as Bruce Lee once said. And having an intellectual understanding is also not enough. What is going on at an emotional level will need to change in order for him to draw the line with his mother and to assert himself, to live his own life. And at this point, if he was to just think about drawing the line and asserting himself and listening to his own needs, he could feel overwhelmed with guilt and shame. And he could also experience a fair amount of fear and anxiety. And not only this, he could also feel ashamed of the fact that he is unable to act like a man. So ashamed of the fact that he is unable to assert himself, to express who he is, to act like a leader, not a follower, to act independent, to do what he needs to do to live a great life, to take life by the horns, so to speak. Instead of this, he can feel like a castrated animal. And so he will look like a man, but he won't feel like a strong and powerful man. And this shows that there will be two levels of shame. The shame when it comes to expressing who he is and putting his needs first, and the shame of not being able to get stuff done, to take action, and to, as I said, to do what he needs to do. And at this point he can feel totally powerless and helpless. His inner critic could come in and start laying into him and accusing him of all kinds of things. And his partner could be supportive at this time, or she could be critical too. But with that aside, it is most likely that he was destined to be this way. So although he can lay into himself and he can feel weak and incapable and believe that he lacks something inherently, this was destined to happen. And so during his early years, not only will his mother have most likely used him to meet some of her adult and unmet childhood needs, and this would have caused him to lose touch with himself and to focus on his mother, but most likely his father wasn't available or he wasn't around, and so his father wouldn't have been able to provide him with the encouragement, the support and the guidance that he needed to leave his mother's world and to step into his power. Because not only did he need his father to provide him with the right nutrients, he also needed his father to model the right behaviour. So if his father wasn't around, or if he was around but he lacked backbone, and his father always deferred to his mother and did what his mother wanted, so he acted more like a boy than a man, then naturally he would have learned that this is how he should behave. And so he wouldn't have received the nutrients that he needed to experience an emotional birth, so he would have been weak there, and then he wouldn't have received the guidance that he needed from his father. And what this comes down to is that he wouldn't have been born masculine. He would have been born in a very feminine state. And in order to develop his masculinity, he needed his father to guide him, to show him how to act like a man. And so taking this into account, considering the fact that his mother didn't provide him with what he needed and his father didn't either, how else would he be as an adult? That simply wasn't possible for him to grow into a man because he didn't receive what he needed. And so the man can reflect on this and see there's no reason for him to lay into himself, because most likely, as I said, he didn't receive what he needed. And as he didn't receive what he needed, why would he know how to behave like a man? It wasn't his fault. And so if you can relate to this, you can see that you lay into yourself for the fact that you're not behaving like a man and you feel ashamed of your needs, then please know this is not your fault and you're doing the best that you can. You were let down, you were abandoned as a child, but now that you're a man, you can take care of business. You can do what you need to do to step into your masculinity, because now it is up to you to do what you need to do and to get hold of the support that you need to emotionally grow up and to step into your power. You didn't have a choice back then, but now you do. So please don't suffer in silence, and reach out for the assistance that you need to gradually transform your life, because you deserve it. To find out more about the services that I offer and how I can assist you on your journey, go to www.oliverjrcooper.co.uk or email me at info@oliverjrcooper.co.uk. I'm looking forward to assisting you on your journey.